I will start. Okay. Hi guys, this is LeicsChat, and this week we're going to talk about loneliness. I'm your host Carly, and I'm the Wellbeing Officer, and I'm here with my two very good friends S and Anne Marie, who both have very different stories about how they kind of beat their loneliness and how they dealt with it, and their strategies and how they changed over time as well. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves quickly? S, do you want to go first?
Hi everyone, I'm S. I'm currently a master's student at the university. I'm doing my degree in marketing for the creative industries, and this will be my third year in Leicester. Anne Marie.
Hi, I'm Anne Marie. I am a little bit complicated. So I'm from New York. I studied abroad at Leicester a couple years ago. Loved it so much. I came back to do my master's. I just completed my first master's and I am doing a second master's now.
So this week it's Loneliness Week. Well, not Loneliness Week, it's Stronger Together Week. And for Stronger Together Week, the aim is to kind of give students that platform where they can meet other students. So we've got loads of events planned along with this podcast. So on Monday, there will be a workshop done by me and Lloyd from the Students' Union, where we're going to talk about anxiety and beating anxiety and kind of just getting out there and building up your confidence. On Tuesday night at 8 p.m, there's going to be a massive Among Us competition, and you can kind of enter in 3 different levels, like according to how good you are and how much you've been playing before. So you're basically with people who are basically on the same level as you. On Thursday, there's going to be an escape room at 7 p.m. And on Friday, for the entire month, you can join me on Friday mornings, basically for a coffee and chat. It's going to be me and maybe other officers sitting in front of our teams and with a coffee, and you can just come in and talk to us about anything you want, and maybe you'll meet new people there as well. And the week after, I'm hoping that schools will also put some stuff on, because you've got reading week, and we want to kind of give you the opportunity to meet new people on your course, and hopefully that will go ahead as well. So let's talk about loneliness and how we all beat our loneliness. So Esther, how did you find your first term at university? You didn't actually go here for your first year, did you?
No, so I went to a different university for my first year, a university in Wales, which was very, very far away from home because I am from near Leicester. I found my first term very scary, like I imagine a lot of freshers do, but I found it really isolating as well. I didn't get on particularly well with any of my flatmates. I actually also transitioned course a month in, so I didn't know anyone on my course. I hadn't done Freshers Week. I didn't drink at the time. I was very lonely, basically.
And did you try anything to kind of beat that in first year, or did you just go with it?
I did find that going home helped me. It was a long 6-hour train ride, but I did it like twice a month, because it really helped to go home and be with family and people I knew. I did try going to a few societies and things, but I don't think it was for me at the time, unfortunately.
So I met you at Leicester, and when I met you, you were kind of a little social butterfly. So what changed when you came to Leicester? And what did you do different that you kind of found your crew and kind of not felt lonely anymore?
Yeah, as soon as I came to Leicester, it all changed. I don't know what it was, but I sat down in my lectures on like my first day of second year, and this girl just started talking to me. She was like, "Do you understand any of this?" And I was like, "No, of course not." And it just it was so easy. I don't know what it was. I think Leicester's just a really friendly place. I made friends so quickly, and once I knew a couple people, I became friends with their friends, and I knew bunch of other people, and I got involved in stuff. Like I got involved in volleyball, and I got a little bit involved in cheer, and I started going to the gym more, and I was closer to home. The reason I moved to Leicester was to be closer to home, but I found that I was finally enjoying myself so much at uni that I didn't need to go home as much, so that was good.
That's really good to hear. So basically what I'm getting from that is you came to a different uni. Is this uni smaller than the uni you went to before?
I don't think so. I think they're probably about the same size, but Leicester's a city, whereas the uni I went to before was like kind of middle and nowhere. I think being in a city helps as well because there's just more going on. There's more to do. Like when I came into second year, I still wasn't drinking that much, but there was more to do than go to pubs and clubs and stuff. Like there was mini golf and there was like shops and cinemas and coffee shops and stuff, which I really loved.
That's really cool. And like one thing you kind of pointed out there as well is something that I also noticed when like once you put yourself out there and you go to societies and you kind of allow yourself to experience that, I felt like I met one person and that one person had an entire group of friends and everyone in that group of friends kind of had other friends and you just got to know everyone so quickly, especially on Wednesday nights.
Exactly. It was so nice. Like after I'd been on a few, O2 Let's Disco nights, and I finally knew a bunch of people. Like now, if I went to the O2, obviously can't go now, but at the end of like second year and start of third year when I went, I couldn't walk anywhere without bumping into like 7 people I know, which was really great because I'd never had that before.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. So, Anne-Marie, how did you find your first term at university? You came from a complete different country and you had never been in England before, had you?
No, so when I studied abroad at Leicester during my undergrad, I had never been far from home before. The undergrad university I went to in New York was 15 minutes from my home. I saw my family quite regularly. I went home for family dinners all the time. So going to England was really a big change for me. And when I first came, it was really difficult because I kind of came in with this perception that England is very much like the US, which it really isn't. We speak English, but even the words we say and the terms we use and the accents everyone have are very, very different from what I was expecting. So it was difficult for me because it was such a culture shock, especially since I've never lived in the city either. And that was really difficult going from a small town to a big city. But the thing I love about Leicester, and I think a lot of international students could agree with me, are the many programs that Leicester has for international students. I made some of my best friends right when I landed in England, actually. Leicester provided international students with a trip to London, which allowed me a chance to get to meet new people, which was incredible. And even when I came, the idea of freshers was just incredible to kind of meet different people. And like S said, once you meet one person, like I met Carly through volleyball. And once I met Carly, she opened me up to a whole new group of friends. And it still is difficult for me because when I go back to New York, it's very easy because that's where I've grown up my whole life. And then coming back to Leicester, it is difficult. But I just try to remember, and I think a lot of international students need to remember this as well, but it's difficult, it's different, but it gets easier. And luckily, Leicester's provided me with such great friends and so many amazing programs, which kind of helped me combat the loneliness and forget about home, in a good way.
I completely get what you mean. I mean, I'm German myself, and I came over when I was 17 to do my A levels. So that was kind of different because we were in that school environment. But then even coming to uni, because no one from my school came to uni, and at least I had learned English by then. Because when I started school in England, there was like, oh, I introduced myself so weirdly. I think I said I'm Carly and I'm from German, and I'm Germany or something like that. It was completely wrong grammar and completely wrong English. I didn't really get what was going on most of the time. But one of the things I learned pretty quickly was that if I wanted people to like me, I should stop trying to be someone I wasn't. I was always trying to kind of fit in and stuff like that. But I kind of realized I don't have to do that anymore. Like, I don't owe anyone to be a person someone else wants me to be. And I started being unapologetically myself. And I found the best friends in the world, like you two. And I'm just accepted the way I am. And that kind of was this huge relief. In first year, I did struggle as well. In first year, I was very lonely for the first few months because I had just gone through a breakup and I was absolutely gutted. I completely missed freshers fair because I was hungover, and so I wasn't in a club or in a society. And then kind of halfway through the term, so around November, I messaged volleyball club and I was like, hey, can I please come? And do you have training sessions? And they were really friendly and they messaged back saying, yeah, of course. And then I went to my first training session and that's where I met Anne-Marie and Maria, who I'm still best friends with to this day. And in second year, I met Esther. Okay, Esther, let's go on to the next question. When did you feel like your loneliness started to get better, if at all? But I think it did, didn't it? And what have your coping mechanisms to combat your feelings of loneliness been?
I think so. In my first year, at my other university, I was super lonely for most of it, but my loneliness started to get better. Like when I came to Leicester, it was literally a couple weeks in, and I had all these amazing new friends. I think one of the coping mechanisms I had was not being afraid of my own company. Like sometimes there's a little bit of stigma around going to the cinema by yourself or going out for dinner by yourself. But if you want to do something, just do it and just enjoy yourself. Like I went to the movies by myself a few times and I really enjoyed it. And I got to eat all my popcorn to myself instead of sharing it with someone. So that was great.
That's such a good advice, and I think we all should take that advice. Like, we should all kind of learn to be happy with ourselves and kind of live with ourselves, because if we're not happy with ourselves and if we don't love ourselves, how are we like expecting someone else to love us? And how are we expecting someone else to kind of want to be friends with us if we don't even want to be friends with ourselves?
Yeah, as soon as I like learned to enjoy my own company and become friends with myself, I found it so much easier to be friends with other people. And it sounds really hard, and it is hard to sort of get your head around that. But once you do, you can just open yourself up to so many other people.
And I also feel like it's got something to do with like being content within yourself, and other people pick up on that, because if you look happy, people are more likely to kind of approach you and talk to you. So I feel like whatever you kind of show with your body language and like how happy you're within yourself, that kind of reflects on others, and they see like, oh, that happy person looks cool, I want to talk to them.
There's a big element of fake it till you make it,
Oh no,
basically.
definitely. I think so much. And Marie, when did you feel like your loneliness started to get better? Well, you didn't really feel lonely, did you? You just kind of threw yourself into it from the start.
Yes, so I didn't feel lonely as much as I felt homesick, which I think the homesickness kind of translated to loneliness in more of like an empty feeling kind of way. And a lot of international students I talk to agree with me and say it is the first 2 months, 2.5, 3 months that are really the hardest. I mean, this is a big change in your life. Even if you're a third year and you're going back to uni again, or a first year or an international student, going to uni is difficult. Uprooting your life that you were comfortable with to go to another life, it's difficult, and it can make you feel really lonely because you're surrounded by some really great people, but they don't know you the way that other people know you at home. And so I would say my biggest thing is I agree with Esther, what she says, when you really got to do things yourself and be comfortable with doing things yourself. But at the same time, you also have to forgive yourself. I found that having forgiveness to myself has been one of the biggest helpful things kind of to combat this, especially during COVID. Just because little wins are really great wins. And even if you don't get up until 1 p.m., but then you kind of go out and do something by yourself, celebrate that. Don't shame yourself for sleeping in until 1 p.m. Kind of just embrace the positives and don't be so hard on yourself, because I think society expects so much of us. Our families expect so much of us. Even the uni expects so much of us. And I think we put all these pressures on ourselves. And sometimes it can even make us lonelier or more distant because we're just too busy to kind of think for ourselves. And so I think taking a step back and forgiving yourself has been really helpful for me, as I just say, you know what? I got up today and I am proud of myself, and that is really good for me. So I think that's what's honestly been one of the most helpful things is forgiveness.
I think that is amazing advice, and I honestly think like this is one of the key things. Listen to your body, listen to your mind, listen to what you need for yourself, and don't let other people put the pressure on you, because at the end of the day, this is your life and you know what's best for yourself. And if your body needs an off day, then have it. Like, even like I sometimes can't get up for the day, and then I'm like, okay, this is my mental health day and I will take it, and I will take it to de-stress, lie in bed, watch my favorite TV show, or do whatever I want to do, cuddle the cats, I don't know. And that's what I do that day, and I then have to forgive myself afterwards, and I can be like, you know what, I needed this. It was like needed in that moment, and it was so important for me to kind of heal, and everyone takes their own time to heal. So Just take the time you need.
Well, the thing is, I mean, health experts and even my parents say it. Go to the gym. The gym will make you feel great. Go work out. And yeah, the gym is really good for you. It's really great for your mental health. But sometimes I find myself beating myself up if I don't do the things that my parents or society or the health experts tell me to do to kind of help myself feel better. And in a way, sometimes I'll feel worse if I go to the gym and just push myself to the point where, I wish I had stayed in bed. And so I think that we need to remember that, mental health days can be going to the gym, they can be seeing a counselor, helping yourself, but also they can be lying in bed and hanging out with your friends. They could be sleeping all day. They can be, whatever makes you feel good. They could be those kits that Carly handed out. That was one of my favorite things, where you kind of poked fur into a little styrofoam to make an animal, something like that. It doesn't seem very big, but it just really helps kind of boost your mood and get your self-esteem up.
Esther?
I was going to say that sometimes you deserve to just lie in bed and watch Netflix and eat chicken nuggets in your PJs, but I think Anne-Marie covered it.
Yeah, I think she covered really well there. And I'm
just passionate about my laying in bed.
However, it did kind of make me feel bad about not going to the gym, but I'm going to start going this week again, so yeah.
Forgiveness.
But you know what? If you go, good for you. If you don't go, don't beat yourself up over it, because you know what? You're doing the best you can do, and that is really good.
What you're doing right now is surviving a pandemic. Give yourself a break.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody beats themselves up for it. Everyone's so upset that they're feeling depressed. Like, why am I feeling depressed? I can't believe it. I should get up. We are in a global pandemic. This is something that has happened like once a million years ago. This is a rare event. No one knows how to handle it. No one knows how to deal with it. So you know what? You're okay to be depressed. You're okay to be upset. It just frustrates me that people think that we should be at our A game and on our best level and have a perfect mental health, despite the fact that the world, no offense, not to depress everybody, is crumbling around us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should be okay with not being okay.
I couldn't agree more, because I feel like you go on social media and everyone's like, this is a time for you to find yourself. This is a time to be content within yourself. Come out of this stronger than ever and things like that. And I'm just there like, well, I haven't been to the gym once in this time. I haven't even gone for runs because I tried and it just isn't me. And social media is telling me to do one thing and I'm just like, yeah, but that's not me. Why do they put so much pressure on us? It's like, now is the perfect time to work out every morning and get to your dream body. Well, maybe my body is my dream body because this is the only body I've got. Stop telling me what my body's supposed to look like,
Preach it, sis. I found that something really helpful I've done recently is just completely get off social media. I know it's not realistic for everyone, but like I've deleted all my social media apps off my phone. Sometimes I'll check Facebook for messages like on my laptop, but seeing things on like Twitter and Instagram about like, you have all this time, why aren't you doing 1,000 squats a day? Because I don't want to, and I'm not going to be made to feel guilty for not doing 1,000 squats a day. So I think sometimes it's really good to just get some distance between you and Instagram.
I mean, we did try at the start to do 100 squats a day. I mean, you did it for longer than me, and I
did it for like 4 days.
I was like, impressed though. I didn't even do it for the first time, and I was like the one that started the challenge, and I couldn't do it. So
the thing that's helped me the most, honestly, and it's really cheesy, and it sounds really stupid, but my mom told me, and I love it. But she says, just get up every morning and just tell yourself, look in the mirror, like, I'm good enough. I was the type of girl that needed to wear makeup if I was going to leave the house. If I wasn't wearing makeup, it was horrible. I would cry and would not go to school. This was in high school. I would not go to school if my outfit wasn't perfect and my makeup wasn't good. And it was just really, it was separating me from other people. It was distancing me from my friends, which made me feel more lonely. It was hurting my self-esteem because I was being distanced from my friends. So it was just kind of a spiral of negative emotions and feelings. And when she told me, you need to look at yourself and say, you are good enough. That's good enough. You know what? Maybe my outfit isn't perfect, but it's good enough. And you are good enough with or without makeup. I think that's helped too, and it's helped build my relationship with people because, I can go meet somebody and maybe I'm not looking my best or maybe I'm not feeling my best, but I did it and I went out of the house and, I was good enough. And so that has been really helpful. So shout out to my mom.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I read that in a book and it said, look into the mirror and tell yourself I am beautiful, because you're not supposed to say I'm pretty or something like that, but I'm beautiful as in the whole package. And one of the other things I've realized as well is it doesn't matter what I wear if I go and meet my friends. Obviously, I'm not meeting my friends right now, but I used to always care so much about, oh my God, what do I wear? Even if I would just go over to a friend's to watch a movie. But once I get there, I realize I will just take my clothes off and put some comfy clothes of theirs on anyway. So it really doesn't matter what I wear as long as I feel myself. And one of the things I've really learned over the pandemic is that if I kind of get up and I'm going to work and I don't feel like I want to wear something kind of bougie or something like professional, I'll just get up in my PJs and I'll just work in my PJs from my desk all day, and that's fine. And other days when I feel like, oh, today I need some motivation, I dress up professionally and then I do my work in a professional outfit. I mean, I'll most likely rip it off after lunch anyway because my trousers are too narrow and I've kind of gained a bit of weight, so it kind of doesn't fit anymore. But you know what? That's also okay because
you're beautiful either way. That's the thing, is you're beautiful both ways because you're happy and you're confident and you're feeling good about yourself. And so whether you're in stained pajamas, you look 10 out of 10. You look like a princess. You're prettier than the prettiest girl in the world. If you're dressed up, you're still prettier than the prettiest girl in the world. Not that it's a competition, but just for like explanation's sake. But you know what I'm saying? Because you're confident and happy with yourself, you look beautiful no matter what.
I feel like you kind of shine this happiness and contentness out to the world, and like if you shine that out, that's what you kind of get back as well. So yeah, one of the other things that I wanted to talk about is in my first year as well, I did do volleyball and I kind of did all these things, but I did still feel a bit lonely, and I was like, have I actually tried everything? So halfway through the year, I think after January or something like that, I messaged LUT, which is a theatre club, and I was like, hey, can I kind of try it out? And then I joined them, and that was so fun as well. It was like I kind of learned complete new things. I got to know so many new people, and kind of joining a society, you meet so many different people, but because you all have this one common interest, you all get on so well. And like, because everyone's so different, I just feel like it's so beautiful at university how everyone's kind of accepted within their own group, and it might take a while to find your own crew, but once you found it, because they will accept you the way you are, and that is so beautiful about university.
Well, that's the thing I like about Leicester, is it's so large, and the people I've met here are obviously very different from the people in New York, but at the same time I went to a small private university for undergrad in New York, and everybody was the same and everybody loved the same things. But because Leicester is so diverse, there's people from all over the world here, and it's so large with so many opportunities. I feel like if you aren't finding your friends, you're just doing it the wrong way. Like, there's someone, I can confidently say that there is someone for you at Leicester that will be your best friend. And I will hold my hands up. And if you can't find your best friend, then you can come find me and I will prove to you that you can find your best friend at Leicester. So that's a promise.
Yes, and another thing that we've just launched as well is the LifeWell app, which will also help you in times of COVID. So if you basically have tried everything and you feel like you're completely out of your depth now, you don't know what to do anymore, sign up to LifeWell. On LifeWell, you basically sign up with your student email, and then you click your hobbies and interests and then things you would like to do in Leicester, and it will match you with another student from University of Leicester who has clicked similar interests, and that way you can meet people with similar interests to you and hopefully make friends in a COVID safe way. So definitely go and download that app.
I think that's such a great idea, if you don't mind me saying, because I think there is a bit of a weird thing, like you should meet people in person, but right now with COVID, it's incredibly difficult and it's incredibly unsafe to meet people in person. And, we use dating apps. There's Tinder, Bumble, there's all these different dating apps. So why not use dating apps to meet friends?
Yes, and you know what? The idea on my manifesto for having an app like this wasn't actually my idea, it was Esther's. So, Es, do you want to talk
Hello.
about a bit? So, Ez, do you want to talk a bit about why you told me that this is something that students should really have?
I think there's when I was in my first year, I had really bad anxiety. I couldn't, like, I stayed in my room all the time. I was very anxious. And I think if I had had something like the LifeWell app, I would have been able to just talk to someone who was like me without having to go to all these different clubs and societies. And, you have to try a few things sometimes before you find your crew or whatever. And I think it would have been so much nicer if I could just use this app and look, there's a person who is like me that I can talk to. Isn't that great? And I think, especially in COVID times, even just connecting with someone on the internet is still really valuable to your own mental health. Like, I have a friend that lives in Edinburgh, and we don't get to see each other very much, but a couple times a week we'll watch an episode of something on Netflix together, on Netflix Party or whatever, or we'll watch a film together on Disney Plus or something like that. And it's just so valuable to be able to connect with someone, even if it's just virtually.
I agree. I think too, with the topic of loneliness and what you're saying, I think it's okay to admit that you're lonely and you're homesick and to say to your friend, I'm lonely, I miss you, let's watch TV. Because at the same time, when you should notice your friends, you should look for signs of kind of loneliness or distress, but at the same time, it's not always completely obvious in some people to see if they're feeling lonely. So something like you said with your friend in Edinburgh, you just reach out and you say, hey, I'm lonely, let's watch a movie. And that can do wonders, honestly, to your loneliness, to help your loneliness and your mental health.
You are just talking about spotting it in other people. So, what would you say? Like, would you say that there are actual ways to spot that you're lonely? And what would your advice be to people who want to help others fighting this?
I would say there are ways to spot loneliness in people, especially if you've got friends and they've withdrawn recently or something. It's really helpful to just reach out, like Anne Marie has said, just watch a film together or something. If you're in halls, if you have one housemate that hasn't come out of their room, maybe just knock on the door, ask them if they want a cup of tea or something. You know,
And for that, you also have the posters. So I don't know if you all noticed, but you've got these little random acts of kindness posters on your door. And on there it says what cheers me up, and it says what my favorite hot drink is and stuff like that. So it's so easy for you to do these little things for your housemates to cheer them up. Just look on their poster, take the information off there, and you will get it exactly right and cheer them up.
yeah, I think it's really important to know the little things about someone. I think those posters are a great thing. If it says on there that they like a cup of tea with one sugar or something, you can make them a cup of tea and be like, hey, let's just have a chat. Let's just connect a little bit. And I think the little things are most important. It doesn't have to be that you, I don't know, plan an elaborate 3-course meal or stream a random movie or whatever. You can literally just like grab coffee with someone or go for a walk in the park or whatever. It's the little things.
Yeah, like in summer when we lived together and you were upset and I would bring you a coffee in the morning to make sure you were okay. Things like that.
She would bring me a coffee and a kitten, and it was just the best way to start the day.
Okay, Marie, what would you say are the ways to kind of spot loneliness if you even can?
Um, I think Aster really said it all with the identifying because people do withdraw, but at the same time, I think there is this balance, and sometimes it is difficult to find. But you also need to understand to give people space because sometimes people do grieve and kind of handle their own issues in different ways that might not be similar to yours. And at the same time, I think the most important thing, besides identifying, is trying to understand because what might be upsetting or lonely to you might not seem like a big deal to me, but that doesn't matter because it's valid. So I think a big thing to do is to kind of validate their feelings. Your feelings are valid. You're allowed to feel lonely. Even if I don't feel like you should, it doesn't matter. You're still allowed to feel how you feel, and that is perfectly fine. And I don't have to agree with it, but I have to accept it and try to help you. So I think on top of just spotting, I think kind of just accepting that people deal with things differently, but at the same time, people also.
So you never really know the full story behind a person. That's like one of the things I also found. Just accept them for who they are, accept them for what they're happy to tell you, accept them for kind of the level of details they want to go into. Maybe they're not comfortable with talking about more, and that is fine, because our lives are our stories, and who we share it with and how much we share with people, that's all up to us. So if we don't want to and don't feel comfortable with it, don't press anyone to do it. Just be like, okay, you don't have to tell me anything. If you want to, we can just sit here, sip our cup of teas or a cup of coffees, watch a movie in silence, or, you know, watch Come Dine With Me or something really trashy that just kind of takes your mind off things.
What are you trying to say about Come Dine With Me? That is an elite TV program.
But that no, it is kind of elite, but at the same time, it's just nice. Like some of my favorite memories are not crazy experiences with my friends. Like I remember one time I wanted to go see Georgia from Love Island. This is so embarrassing. Like it was one of my first times coming to England, so I loved Love Island, you know, like give me a break. I wanted to meet Georgia from Love Island, and she was going to one of the clubs in Leicester. And I remember there was just this whole fiasco, and I didn't end up meeting her. And I was a bit disappointed. But my friends who I was with at the time, they secretly bought me pizza, and then we just watched Love Island for fun. And you know, them doing that, understanding that I was upset, even though it probably seems silly that I couldn't meet somebody to them, and that's why I was upset. They probably were like, this girl's psycho. But like the fact that they just, you know, could recognize that I was a little disappointed, and they bought pizza and we just watched Love Island, that was way better to me than meeting Georgia would have ever been, you know? And so sometimes I think people, what you said, Carly, people think that you have to do something extravagant when you really don't. And that memory kind of stays with me because it just shows that, you know, they really cared in ways that, you know, cut that. That was stupid. Sorry.
No, that was so cute, honestly. Only could have put that out, please. No, I absolutely agree, and it's always about the little things in life. You don't have to do big things. I think we've said this so many times now. It's not about the big things you do. It's about the little things, the little, like, forgive yourself. Do little things for each other and kind of do these random acts of kindness to cheer each other up, because we live in a world that's strange enough and that's weird enough and hard enough to survive in at the moment. And the pressure we've got from society, the pressure we've got from our parents, grandparents, the pressure we've got probably from our, I don't know, I was going to say kids. That's ourselves, yes. The pressure we get from ourselves, and it's all unnecessary, and just have to learn to accept ourselves and love ourselves and kind of live within ourselves and just kind of spread that happiness and the random acts of kindness. And even if you can't do it every day, that's fine as well. Once again, forgiveness. Yes, Esther.
Hello. I remember, like, Carly talks a lot about random acts of kindness, but that's not just something that's like on her manifesto. Like, that is who she is. I remember back in like, must have been like April, May, when the whole country was fully locked down, and we couldn't see anyone. I was at home in my parents' house, and Carly was in Leicester, and we hadn't seen each other in months, and we missed each other so much. And I wake up one morning, and she has sent me a Moonpig card of, like, it was so random and weird. And she was like, I sent this when I was half asleep. I'm not sure if it was a dream or not, but it was hilarious, and it made me laugh, and I loved it. And it was just that little thing that was like, oh, she misses me, I miss her too, you know? It was cute.
Is this the card where I edited myself onto James Corden's body and cats, and I had my head basically on a cat body, and it says,
yes,
like, I miss you. Yeah,
it was hilarious. I opened it and I was like, okay, cool, I think she misses me.
I think that was after a heavy night of drinking. Oh yeah, I do remember that. But yeah, it's literally just little things like that. It doesn't have to cost much. Just kind of do little things that will cheer your friends up, like bringing them popcorn when you go over, or what Esther always does when she comes over. She always brings a bottle of wine.
It's my fatal flaw. I can't go around to anyone's house without bringing a bottle of wine. I have to.
Well, yeah.
Probably not great for our hangovers, but
yeah, I was about to say alcohol.
I wish I didn't sometimes, but I have to.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I think this was a very successful podcast, and we've kind of discussed a lot of things surrounding loneliness and finding yourself and being happy within yourself and kind of forgiving yourself. I think the message I'm going to take away from today is forgive yourself and be gentle on yourself and tell yourself that you're beautiful and no one else really matters. No, wait, that was wrong. No one else's opinion.
Ah, queen.
Sorry.
No one matters.
That will definitely need to be cut, Bethan. That part,
Cut
cut.
that.
Okay, I'll try again. Okay, so to bring it all to an end, I think this was very informative, and I think the thing I'm going to take away from today is go and tell yourself you're beautiful and just forgive yourself for having down days and just take your life as it goes and yeah, just go with the flow. I think the main thing to take away is to focus on the little things and forgive yourself and that you're enough. So yes, for this week, as I said at the start already, we've got loads of things planned. So just head over to my Instagram page, which is at Less Wellbeing, or my Facebook, which is Carly Wagner SU, or the Students' Union website. So you can sign up for tickets for the escape room and for the Big Among Us competition on the website, and you can choose which level you want to play at, and you can come to the workshop that we're going to do on Monday to boost your confidence and help you ease your anxiety and kind of give you little tips and tricks on how to do it. And yeah, thank you so much, Es and Anne-Marie, for coming here today and talking to me and taking the time.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure.
As always, I love talking to you, and I'm sure we all will end up on a phone call tonight anyway. So yeah, I will see you guys later tonight on our nightly Skype call. And thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us. We love you.
Love you.
Wait, there's one more thing we have to say.
Leicester.
So for any students out there who are struggling with anything, you can always reach out to me or to the advisor, the Students' Union. So the advice services, you can contact them at advice@le.ac.uk. So just send them an email and they will come back to you. We've got 3 absolutely amazing advisors who are basically experts and can tell you what to do with any issue you've got regarding housing, finance, mitigating circumstances, anything academic. They can help you because they're in the Students' Union, and the Students' Union is not the university. So come to us if you need anything, and we're always here for you. And keep going as you are. You are strong, you are beautiful, and you're doing amazing. And yeah, thank you for listening.
Bye.
Peace out.